Ang Sierra Madre po ay buhay. Siya ang ating sandigan. Ngayon na ang panahon para ipakita na kaya rin nating ipagtanggol ang nagtatanggol sa atin. Kung ang Sierra Madre handang isakripisyo ang sarili upang tayo ay mailigtas, hindi ba't napapanahon na tayo naman ang magligtas sa Kanya?
Bago yan, huwag kalimutang mag-subscribe para sa maiinit na political expose.
Maraming salamat, Sierra Madre.
And give my full support to the privileged speech of the good Senator Erwin Tulfo.
Narito ang buong detalye.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen of this august chamber. Ako po ay tumitindig ngayon upang manawagan para sa ganap na proteksyon ng buong kabundukan ng Sierra Madre. Hindi lamang po sa Isabela, sa Hilaga, kundi hanggang sa lalawigan ng Quezon sa Timog. Noong Sabado at Linggo lamang, nang tumama po ang Super Typhoon Uwan sa Luzon, muli nating nasaksihan ang katatagan ng Sierra Madre. Siya lang naman po ang humarang sa unos, pumigil sa hagupit ng hangin at nagligtas ng milyong-milyong buhay sa Luzon. Tahimik po niya ang ginampanan, Mr. President, muli ang tungkulin bilang ating tagapagligtas. Para pong isang ina na ikinubli ang kanyang mga anak sa dapat sanay nakamamatay na hagupit ni Uwan. Yet, Mr. President, despite its immense importance, the Sierra Madre remains under siege. Mining operations continue to carve scars upon slopes. Illegal logging and massive quarrying erode its soil. Infrastructure and resort developments threaten to fragment its forests. Gayong may mga batas naman gaya ng Republic Act No. 9125 o ang Northern Sierra Madre Natural Park Act of 2001 na naglalayong pangalagaan ito, nananatiling kulang at mahina ang pagpapatupad ng mga probisyong dapat sana'y nagpoprotekta sa natitirang likas na yaman ng ating bansa. Kaya naman, Ginoong Pangulo, nanawagan ako na agad suriin at pagtibayin ang pagpapatupad ng proteksyon sa Sierra Madre. Nararapat ang mas maigting na pagbabawal sa anumang mapaminsalang pagmimina, pagtutroso dito at pagtatayo ng lahat ng uri ng resort, bakasyonan man o permanenteng tirahan, kasabay na rin ang pagbibigay ng kabuhayang pangkalikasan sa mga katutubo at lokal na komunidad na tunay na tagapangalaga ng kalikasan. Mga kasama, kung ang Sierra Madre handang isakripisyo ang sarili upang tayo ay mailigtas, hindi ba't napapanahon na tayo naman ang magligtas sa Kanya? Mr. President, colleagues, how many more super typhoons must batter Luzon before we act? How many more floodings and landslides must claim lives before we finally give the Sierra Madre the protection she deserves? The Sierra Madre has saved Luzon countless times, from Typhoon Yolanda, Rolly, Paeng, and now Uwan. But who will save the Sierra Madre, Mr. President? It cannot speak for itself. It cannot march to this hall. It cannot plead for mercy against bulldozers and chainsaws. It relies on us, the people's representatives, to give it voice and legal protection. Ginoong Pangulo, mga kasama, ang Sierra Madre po ay buhay. Siya ang ating sandigan. Ngayon na ang panahon para ipakita na kaya rin nating ipagtanggol ang nagtatanggol sa atin. Kaya po, sasabihin ko, maraming salamat, Sierra Madre. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, my fellow legislators.
President, Senator Raffy Tulfo is seeking the floor for a manifestation of support.
Senator Raffy Tulfo is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. In line with the privileged speech of the Honorable Senator Erwin Tulfo, I would like to raise concerns on the protection of our environment, especially our protected areas. 3 years ago, I expressed my opposition over the Kaliwa Dam project because of the irreversible harm it will cause to the ecosystem of Sierra Madre and because of the affected indigenous communities. Several environmentalist groups further raised their concern on the threat to the lives of 100,000 residents once it's built, as it will be constructed within a zone of two active tectonic belts, the Philippine Fault Zone and Valley Fault System. At dahil nasita ang DNR, sinuspindi ang proyekto. Kung hindi pa nasita, tuloy-tuloy ang proyekto. Inamin ng DNR na hindi pa compliant ang proyekto sa zoning requirements. At the moment, may go signal na ulit sa Kaliwa Dam Project. Dahil ba nabaling na atensyon ng mga tao? Are the concerns of the indigenous people addressed? While the MWSS claimed that only half of the village will be affected, indigenous groups and villagers said the waters would submerge up to 90% of the village, as only houses situated 70 meters and above will be spared. Ito po ang matagal ko nang sinasabi at paulit-ulit. Ang ating DENR ay parati na lang pumapasok pag may kaguluhan na, pag may nadisgrasya na, pag may milyon nang nasira at marami nang namatay. Reactive at hindi po proactive ang ating DENR. Dapat po ang DENR anunguna sa pagpigil ng pag-aabuso sa ating kalikasan. Pero hindi po ganitong nangyari. Kasi po, may nababayaran sa baba para mabigyan ng ECC. Pag walang nagreklamo, everybody happy. Pag may nagprotesta naman, hindi rin agad pinapansin hanggat hindi nag-viral o ma-pick up ng media o sa social media. Anong klaseng sistema meron po tayo? The problem with our environment, Mr. President, is that damages are often irreversible. Kaya dapat prevention ang priority natin, hindi rehabilitation. Dahil years and even decades ang kailangan to bring back any damage to our environment. And the cost is nowhere near any economic advantage that we can gain from some of the projects. And that is why we have the E-NIPAS Act, excuse me, or the environment, or the expanded National Integrated Protected Areas System Act. These are areas that we recognize as sacred and need absolute protection. But from our experience as Kaliwa Dam, sa resort, sa Chocolate Hills at sa Mount Apo, at sa wind farm energy projects at sa Masungi, ang mga regulasyon ay optional. Depende kung magkaroon ng kadahilanan. Sa magkanong kadahilanan? In some ways. Ang mga environment compliance certificates ay nabibili gaya ng mga birth certificates at diplomas dyan sa recto. I have discussed this matter with my fellow senators who are environmental advocates, and they agreed with me that we must review the E-NIPAS Act. There's a need to instill better regulatory system. Community participation in the regulation must be strengthened. But just like infra project, it is the communities that point out irregularities. It is the community that has genuine concern for the environment. Furthermore, we should include in the prohibited and penalized acts the participation of government officials in the prohibited acts, because the violation of our environmental laws are never committed without the consent or cooperation of a public official. Given po yan palagi. Sa katotohanan, naipakita ko na po kung paano paglaruan ang mga miyembro ng DNR, PAMBI, NCIP at iba pang ahensya para makakuha ng kakayanang babuyin ang ating protected areas. While the right price and the right friends, anything is possible. Meaning, walang imposible if the price is right. Oras na para bisitahin natin muli ang INIPAS at iba pang batas para wakasan ang ganitong klaseng bulok na sistema. With this, I commend and give my full support to the privileged speech of the good Senator Erwin Tulfo. Thank you, Mr. President.